Jonah Clark sat in the quiet observation deck of the orbital station, staring at the pale blue curve of the human colony below. Haven Ridge had been his people's pride. It was small, yes, but it had grown over decades into a thriving outpost on the edge of explored space. Now, the colony looked broken even from orbit. Smoke curled up in thin wisps, twisting like ghostly fingers, and lights flickered in the remaining buildings. Jonah's stomach tightened, and he rubbed his eyes. He had been a diplomat for nearly 20 years. He had seen disputes, arguments, and tensions between humans and alien species flare up, but nothing like this. Nothing so sudden. The reports had come an hour ago, and each word had been worse than the last. Thousands of people were gone. Homes were destroyed. The peace treaty that had kept humans and the Varan alliance from fighting for decades had been shattered. Jonah took a deep breath and leaned back in his chair. The station's artificial gravity held him firmly, but he felt as if the floor could slip away. He remembered his first mission as a young diplomat. He had traveled to a small alien world called Trionis, where humans and aliens had been arguing over mining rights. It had seemed huge at the time, but it was nothing compared to this. Here, the stakes were millions of lives and the future of human colonies in the region. The alarm on his communicator beeped, and Jonah answered immediately. "Clark," said the voice of Admiral Nathan Cole. Cole was calm, but there was tension in his words. "We've confirmed the attack. The colony is gone. The Varan claim it was a mistake, but the evidence is troubling." Jonah closed his eyes for a moment. "How can it be a mistake?" he asked quietly. This was deep inside protected space. There are no other forces there, no threats. This was safe, by treaty rules. And yet it is ruined, Cole's sigh echoed faintly. "Jonah, the council wants you to go. They want a report, and they want a response. We need to know if this was a rogue commander or something more." Jonah opened his eyes. He felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had dealt with alien politics, yes, but this was not a negotiation or a simple argument. This was judgment. If the Varan had broken the treaty on purpose, humanity could not look weak. They could not pretend it was a misunderstanding. "I will go," he said. His voice was firm. "And I will find the truth." He ended the call and stood, pacing slowly along the observation deck. The view of Haven Ridge's ruins burned in his mind. Jonah remembered the stories he had read as a child about humans on Earth, defending their homes against invaders. Those stories had been simple, about courage and persistence. He had never thought he would live a story like that among the stars. He called his team together. Claire Morgan arrived first. She was a security officer, strong and calm, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She greeted Jonah with a quiet nod. "I've read the preliminary reports," she said. "What's our plan?" Jonah motioned for her to follow him to the conference room. Daniel Ross was already there, his tablet in hand, analyzing the raw data they had received from the colony's sensors. He was quiet and thoughtful, often lost in calculations and patterns. Next was Maya Lewis, a young doctor with experience in both human and alien medicine. She looked at Jonah with concern. "We are going into Varan space under diplomatic protection." Jonah explained. "We need to find out what really happened at Haven Ridge. We will speak to the Varan Council, demand access to their records, and hold them accountable if they broke the treaty." Claire frowned. "They might not cooperate. Varan pride is strong. They could see this as an attack against their sovereignty." "Then we make it clear we are not asking for favors," Jonah replied. "We are asking for truth. Humanity will not ignore the deaths of its citizens." Daniel tapped his tablet. "I've been looking at sensor data. The attack path, it was precise. Someone knew the colony defenses. If this was an accident, it was the most carefully planned accident in history." Jonah nodded. "That's what worries me. Someone on their side or someone close to the treaty gave them our codes. Someone wanted this to happen." Maya's voice was soft but firm. "Then we need to be ready for injuries, casualties. If things go wrong, we must help anyone who is hurt, human or alien." Jonah smiled faintly. "You always think of the people first, Maya. That is why you are with us." He called in the engineers and logistics officers for the mission. Their ship would be fast but lightly armed. They were not going in to fight. They were going in to demand answers. The diplomatic flag would protect them, but only so long as the Varan respected agreements. Jonah knew that might not last. As the team boarded the small transport, Jonah took one last look at the station's observation window. The stars were beautiful and indifferent, stretching endlessly into darkness. Somewhere out there, other alien species were watching, curious or cautious. Jonah knew the galaxy had eyes on humans, waiting to see what they would do when provoked. "Let's move," he said. The engines hummed as the ship detached from the station. During the journey, Jonah reviewed the reports with his team. Claire worked on security protocols, ensuring their communications were encrypted and their ship was ready for any ambush. Daniel ran simulations, looking for patterns in the attack that might reveal who had planned it. Maya prepared medical supplies, predicting injuries and illnesses they might encounter from the ruins or refugees. "I keep thinking about Haven Ridge," Maya said quietly during a break. "People just living their lives, and suddenly, nothing, gone, just because someone wanted to test us or provoke war." Jonah nodded. "It is hard to imagine, but if we do nothing, if we wait for vengeance to rise blindly, more people will die. Our job is to find truth first, then act." Claire crossed her arms. "Truth is fragile. Some of them will lie. Some will hide the facts. We need to be ready to push, quietly but firmly." Jonah looked at each of them. "I know, this mission is dangerous, but it is our duty. Humanity has grown among the stars. We cannot allow treaties to be broken without consequence. Not now, not ever." As they neared the edge of human-protected space, the stars outside grew more crowded with alien traffic. Freighters and patrols moved in patterns unfamiliar to humans. Ships with designs Jonah had never seen. It reminded him that the galaxy was large and complex, and humans were still young. First step. Jonah said, "We speak to the Varan Council. We ask for records. We ask for truth. And if they refuse, we show them that humans do not tolerate broken promises." The crew fell silent, each absorbed in their own thoughts. The journey would take days, and each moment brought uncertainty. Yet Jonah felt a strange calm. He had been trained for negotiations, for tense situations where one wrong word could start a war. This was the most important negotiation of his life. That night, he stood at the viewing window, looking at a distant sun shining over an alien planet. The light reflected on his face, and for a moment, he felt the weight of all the humans he represented. The lost families, the children, the elders, all gone from Haven Ridge, all depending on him now. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, "I will make this right. We will not be weak. We will not be blind. We will be fair, but we will be strong." He turned back to the bridge, where his team prepared charts, read reports, and checked the ship's systems. Jonah knew that when they arrived at Varan space, nothing would be simple. The council could lie, warlords could interfere, and diplomacy could fail. But for the first time since the attack, he felt clarity. Humanity had been wronged. Now, humanity would answer. The stars outside held their cold, silent light. But Jonah felt a fire in his chest. He would carry it to Varan space. He would carry it to the council. And when the truth was revealed, every eye in the galaxy would see what happens when humans are betrayed. The mission had begun, and the path was clear. Find the truth, demand justice, and prepare for whatever came next. Jonah leaned back in his chair, letting the hum of the engines and the steady rhythm of the stars remind him that he was moving forward. This was only the beginning, but already he knew one thing: humans did not forget. Humans did not forgive lightly. And humanity's answer was coming. Here's part 2 of They Broke the Treaty. A Human Diplomat Brings Judgment. Written in third person, simple and basic English. Around 1,400 words, Jonah Clark's ship moved steadily through the stars, leaving human-protected space behind. The farther they traveled, the thicker the alien traffic became. Strange ships of all shapes passed by, some glowing with light, others dark and heavy. Jonah studied them carefully. Each ship's design told a story: military, merchant, exploration, or patrol. In this crowded space, Any wrong move could trigger a conflict. Claire Morgan was on the bridge, scanning local channels for unusual traffic. Her sharp eyes caught the slightest change in patterns. "Jonah," she said, pointing at a cluster of ships ahead. "These patrols are different from standard Varn routes. They are moving as if expecting someone. Maybe us." Jonah leaned over the console. "So they know we are coming. That makes sense. We are carrying a diplomatic flag, but it won't protect us if someone wants a fight." Daniel Ross, working in the analysis room, had been quiet for hours. Now he spoke. "I've been examining the data from Haven Ridge. The attack wasn't random. The flight path, the timing, even the targeting pattern that shows someone had inside knowledge of the colony defenses. That's not a mistake, Jonah. That's planning." Jonah's jaw tightened. "So someone on their side or close to the treaty gave them our codes. Someone wanted this attack to succeed." Maya Lewis, sitting nearby with a medical kit and scanning equipment, spoke softly. "And people died. Families, children. We need to be ready for more suffering when we arrive. If the Varn are hiding something, there may be survivors we can help." Jonah nodded. "We help everyone we can, Maya. But our main job is truth. If we do not find the truth, the deaths are meaningless." As the ship approached the first Varn border world, the crew could see its surface through sensors. The planet had a pale green atmosphere, swirling clouds, and large metallic cities that seemed alive with movement. Jonah called the bridge together. "This is our first contact with Varn officials for this mission," he said. "We speak calmly and clearly. We ask for access to all records relating to Haven Ridge. We ask for truth. If they refuse, we make it known that humans will consider their silence guilt." Claire checked her weapons systems. "We may need to show presence without firing, just to remind them humans are serious." Jonah agreed. "No one wants war yet, but we cannot act like children. Strength, clarity, truth, those are our tools." The ship entered orbit above the border world. Immediately, patrol ships appeared, sleek and fast. They scanned Jonah's ship carefully. Communication channels were opened, and a Varn governor named Sarlin appeared on the screen. He was tall, with grayish-blue skin and piercing eyes that seemed to look right through humans. "Humans," Sarlin said formally, "we are aware of the tragedy at Haven Ridge. It was a terrible mistake. We regret the loss. Now, what is it that you wish to discuss?" Jonah remained calm. "Governor Sarlin, we are here to verify the facts. Our colony was attacked within protected space. Civilians were killed. We require access to your records regarding the attack. We also need to understand who gave the orders." Sarlin's eyes narrowed. "Our military is loyal. Mistakes happen. We cannot hand over internal military records. That would threaten our security." Jonah's voice stayed steady. "Then we have little choice. If the Council does not cooperate, humanity will interpret this as a deliberate attack, and the entire Varn alliance will be held responsible." Sarlin hesitated, then shook his head. "You humans are too quick to assume guilt. Our council will decide." "You may wait." Jonah's team left the meeting room quietly. In the corridor outside, Claire noticed a figure moving strangely. She followed silently and saw a Varn meet a shadowed figure in a hidden alcove. A small device was exchanged, and Claire recorded it from a distance, back on the ship. Daniel examined the footage. "This device is a communication transmitter, but it's encrypted in a way I haven't seen before. It could carry orders for operations outside the Council's knowledge." Jonah frowned. "So there may be a faction within the Varn who wants this war. Someone who does not answer to the Council." Maya shook her head. "And humans died because of it. We need to find them and stop them before they do more harm." Days passed as Jonah's ship moved deeper into Varn-controlled space. Communication with neutral observers in the galaxy was constant. Jonah sent reports to Earth, carefully worded to avoid triggering panic, but clear enough to show that humans were serious. One day, Maya received word from a small shuttle carrying survivors from Haven Ridge. They had been rescued by the Varn patrols, but the survivors were terrified. Some had been hiding in ruined shelters for days. Others spoke of soldiers who did not seem to know why they were attacking. Confusion and fear were everywhere. They didn't expect civilians. Maya said quietly as she treated burns and injuries. Some of these soldiers may have been misled. Others may have wanted this to happen. Jonah's mind raced. He called a meeting with his team. Listen carefully. What we are dealing with is bigger than a single rogue commander. There's a group inside the Varn Alliance that wanted this attack. Our goal is to find them, expose them, and make sure justice is served. Nothing less. Claire tightened her jaw. We will need evidence. Hard evidence. Eyewitnesses, logs, orders, anything that proves they planned this. Daniel nodded. I am working on decrypting the device Claire found. I think it may contain the orders. If we can decode it, we can trace the commands back to whoever wanted Haven Ridge destroyed. Jonah placed his hand on the table. Then we work fast, quietly, and carefully. We cannot allow them to hide behind bureaucracy or pride. Humans will not forgive, and the galaxy will watch how we act. The ship approached a remote communication relay station used by the Varn. Daniel and Claire worked together to intercept and decode signals. Hours passed. Slowly, a pattern emerged. The messages were a mix of Varn military codes and an unknown encryption. Orders were hidden within routine communications, detailing the attack on Haven Ridge down to the smallest detail. Jonah, look at this, Daniel said, his finger pointing at the decrypted lines. These orders were signed by someone named Draxer. He is not part of the Council. He is a warlord who leads a radical faction within the Varn Alliance. They wanted a war with humans. They planned this. Jonah's eyes narrowed. So it wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. They wanted humans to react, to show what they think of our species. And now the galaxy is watching. Maya clenched her fists. Then we have to act. Innocent people are still at risk. We can't wait for them to strike again. Jonah nodded. We prepare our evidence. We present it to the Council. We demand justice. If they refuse, we make it clear to everyone in the galaxy that humans will not tolerate betrayal. The days that followed were tense. Jonah's ship remained under observation, moving carefully through space. Every contact, every signal, was analyzed. The team worked tirelessly, uncovering more communications from Draxer's faction, including movements of ships and hidden bases. It became clear that the attack on Haven Ridge was only the first step in a larger plan. Jonah spoke to his team one evening. We are close. Soon we will reach the Council. We will show them the evidence. We will give them a chance to act. But make no mistake, if they do not, humans will respond. We are not here to start war, but we are here to demand truth and justice. Claire looked at him. And if they try to lie or hide? Jonah's voice was calm, but firm. Then we show the galaxy everything. The truth cannot be hidden forever. Humans may be young among the stars, but we are persistent. We do not forgive lightly, and we do not forget. As the ship approached the Varn Council world, Jonah stood at the viewing window. The planet below was enormous, with vast cities stretching across continents, clouds swirling in its pale sky. Jonah felt the weight of what was coming. The council would be difficult. They were proud, formal, and used to controlling their people. But now, the truth was coming, and it could not be ignored. Prepare the reports. Jonah said quietly. Prepare every piece of evidence. Prepare for every possible answer. We go in with calm, but with certainty. Humanity will demand justice, and no one will stop us. The stars outside the ship were calm, indifferent. But Jonah felt a storm rising, not in space, but in the council chambers, soon to be confronted with the truth. And in that storm, humanity would stand tall, patient, and ready to act. Here's part 3 of They Broke the Treaty. A Human Diplomat Brings Judgment. Written in third person, simple and basic English. Around 1,400 words, Jonah Clark's ship hovered above the Varn Council world, the largest planet in their system. The atmosphere swirled with green clouds, and the massive cities below gleamed with metal and light. Jonah felt a knot in his stomach, not of fear, but of responsibility. This was the moment when truth would face power. His team prepared for the council meeting. Claire Morgan checked weapons, but in a quiet way. They were under diplomatic protection, but she knew that rules could be broken. Daniel Ross reviewed data and decrypted files from Draxer's faction, tracing every suspicious order, every hidden signal. Maya Lewis prepared medical supplies, expecting that even a meeting could turn dangerous. Remember, Jonah said, looking at them, our goal is clear. Present the truth. Demand answers. Remain calm. Nothing else matters. They descended into the council world and were escorted to the grand hall. Massive columns held the ceiling, which glimmered with alien crystal light. Council members filled the room, sitting in semicircular arrangements. All eyes turned toward the humans. Jonah stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. I am Jonah Clark, representing the human colonies. We come with evidence of a breach of the treaty protecting human settlements. We demand answers. Verith, the council head, an elder with silver scales and deep eyes, nodded slowly. Humans, we have heard your complaints. Tragedy occurs in war. We will consider your evidence. Jonah held up his tablet, showing decrypted messages. These are orders given for the attack on Haven Ridge. They were signed by Draxter, a known warlord within your alliance. The attack was deliberate. Civilians died because of these orders. We request that Draxter be held accountable. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some council members looked shocked, others angry. A few whispered among themselves. Jonah noticed the divide. Some were clearly unaware of Draxter's actions. Others had known, but hoped it would remain hidden. During a recess, Claire moved through the corridors, observing council aides. She followed a suspicious figure and caught him handing a small device to another shadowed individual. She recorded the meeting from a distance. Back in the main chamber, Jonah continued. We ask the council to act. We do not come to start war. We come to prevent it. If Draxter is allowed to act freely, he will strike again. Humanity cannot accept another attack. One council member spoke up, voice trembling. This Draxter, he is not acting on our orders. He is independent. Jonah nodded. He is independent, but still part of your alliance. If the council does not act, it bears responsibility. The galaxy watches. Every species sees what happens when treaties are broken. Verith remained silent, then gestured for another meeting. The humans were led to a side room where they could review more evidence with selected council aides. Daniel displayed logs, charts, and decrypted signals. The aides examined them carefully. Some nodded in shock. Some looked unconcerned, pretending ignorance. Maya leaned over, whispering, Jonah, these aides. Some of them knew. They helped cover it up. We need to expose this too, or Draxter's supporters will protect him. Jonah agreed. We will. We must show the council that hiding the truth is worse than acknowledging it. As they returned to the main hall, Draxter himself made a live appearance on a screen from a remote location. He sneered, confident. Humans think you can scare me. You are new, weak. You will fail. Jonah's voice remained steady. Draxes, your actions are known. You killed civilians. You broke the treaty. You will face judgment under both human and Varan law. Your attempt to provoke a war will not succeed. The chamber erupted in whispers. Council members argued, some saying humans have no right to interfere, others demanding Draxter's capture. Jonah stayed calm, letting the chaos unfold while the evidence spoke for itself. Claire, stationed near the exits, noticed council guards moving unusually, as if preparing for conflict. She quietly signaled Jonah, who nodded. They had to be ready for anything, even if diplomacy failed. Daniel discovered that Draxter's faction had hidden bases, weapons depots, and loyal soldiers scattered across several moons. If Draxter resisted, there could be conflict. But Jonah knew that exposing the evidence had already weakened him. The council could no longer ignore the truth. Maya treated a few injured aides who had fainted from the stress of seeing human casualties. And Draxter's orders. She spoke softly to them, explaining humanity's rules of war, emphasizing care for both human and alien lives. Some listened, absorbing the quiet strength of human resolve. After long hours, Jonah returned to the podium. The evidence is clear. Draxter is responsible. The council must act. If not, humanity will see the alliance as complicit. We seek justice, not vengeance. But make no mistake, humans will act to prevent further attacks. Verith, looking weary, finally spoke. We understand your position. The council will deliberate. We cannot allow one rogue leader to dictate our actions, and the law must take its course. Jonah pressed gently. Deliberate quickly. Civilians are still at risk. Every delay is a danger to human lives and to stability in the region. Show the galaxy that treaties mean something outside the chamber. News drones carried live reports of the proceedings. Other species, curious and cautious, watched human diplomacy at work. They saw calm, firm words backed by evidence. They began to understand that humans were not reckless, even when wronged. After another short recess, Jonah met privately with Varith. The delay is dangerous, he said. Draxes is still free. He could strike again. The council must act, now. Varith nodded slowly. We understand. Your evidence is undeniable. Draxer will be summoned, and his base is secured. The council will act, but we must maintain order among our people. Some will resist. Jonah felt a spark of relief. Progress, slow but certain. We will monitor the actions. We expect full cooperation as they prepared to leave the council world. Claire briefed Jonah on potential threats. Small factions loyal to Draxer could attempt sabotage or attacks. Jonah ordered the team to stay vigilant. Daniel worked late into the night, tracing signals to Draxer's strongholds. He mapped likely locations for human and council operations. Maya continued preparing for medical contingencies. Jonah reviewed strategies, balancing diplomacy and readiness. He reflected on the journey. Haven Ridge, the dead civilians, the broken treaty, they weighed heavily on him. Yet, he also felt pride. Humanity had shown patience, method, and strength. The galaxy watched, and humans had spoken clearly without bloodshed so far. Jonah called his team together. Tomorrow, we will return to the council to witness action. Draxer will be summoned. The council will make its choice. We must be ready for anything, but we continue to seek truth first. Strength follows truth. The crew nodded, each committed to the mission. They understood the stakes, human lives, treaty integrity, and the message sent to the galaxy about what happens when humans are betrayed. As the ship cruised through space that night, Jonah stood at the viewing window. Stars stretched endlessly in the dark. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, truth first, justice second. But humanity will act, and the galaxy will know. We do not forget, we do not forgive lightly, and we do not fail when the innocent are at risk. The mission continued, the storm of diplomacy and danger growing closer with each passing hour. And Jonah felt the fire of responsibility burning steadily within him. Humans had been wronged, and now humanity would bring judgment. Guided by truth and the courage to act,